This is a very important decision that the district would have to make in choosing our next superintendent for our school district. And so as we move forward, at this time I would like to call Mr. Campos, the principal of Pahokee High School, up and give us a brief welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'd like to welcome our community, anyone out here from the community, and our students, and of course our distinguished guests. And we have a lot of distinguished guests here today. Of course, we have Mr. Crawford, who helped us put together this event, who works for the community engagement department, helps us with the communication with the community. We have Ms. Ross, our area director, over here to my right, and of course Ms. Andrews, our school board member. We also have a few of our commissioners. I see Commissioner Hill, and we also have Commissioner Holmes. We have Eddie Rhodes over here from the Tri-County Education Committee, and we have many of our principals as well from the elementary school. I saw Dr. Hibbler here a minute ago. Here he is, Mr. Aronson from the middle school, and we have parents. Oh, there's Dr. Green from Transformation as well, sitting up here in the front row. So we have lots of members of the school district and also school board and commissioners, people from the public that are very interested in this forum and what is to be said at this forum. You know, Pahokee High School is a very special place. All the schools in Pahokee are very special places, and we deserve the best. We deserve to be heard. We deserve for the people that are looking for our next superintendent to hear what's important to us. Because although we have a small school in a small area, we have big hearts, and we have a very important area of our community that, and we're looking for a superintendent that has us in mind. So I think this is important, and as soon as I heard that I had the opportunity to have this forum here tonight, I jumped at it because I would love to have Pahokee High School the center of the words that need to be said when we look for our next superintendent. This time I'd like to introduce Ms. Ross. Ms. Ross, our area director.
Thank you, Mr. Ocampo. I bring greetings to everyone. Good afternoon, good evening from our wonderful area superintendent, Dr. Matthew Shoemaker, as well as our Area 3 office. Welcome parents, community members, teachers, administrators to this wonderful event, which is our superintendent search. We want to make sure that our community is heard, as well as our school representatives, because we want to make sure that we provide very valuable input in the characteristics and the attributes that we would like in our next superintendent. So thank you all very much for coming out and participating in such an amazing opportunity for our community. And with that being said, I'd like to introduce our amazing school board member, Mrs. Marsha Andrews.
And good evening, everyone. When I think about the important people in here tonight, it's everyone that's sitting out here in this audience. All of the community, all of the employees of the school district, the parents, the students. It's your night tonight to talk about what you want to see in the next superintendent. All of the characteristics you think will bring the best person to Palm Beach County. The school board of Palm Beach County hired Ray and Associates, a national search firm. They're out there screening, looking at candidates, talking to candidates, but they don't want to make any selections until we have the voices from everybody. We had our meeting out in the Glades a few weeks ago, and I promised that we would have a meeting in Pahokee and another meeting in the Glades. Because at the timeline that we had our meeting in the Glades, all of our elected officials had gone to Tallahassee. And then a lot of our community did not know. So I'm pleased to say we have a nice crowd tonight. I've seen the meetings all over the county, and I know, and I can tell you for sure, we have a nice crowd tonight. So, as Ray and Associates begin to look at the applications, talk to those who are interested in coming to Palm Beach County, and everyone wants to come to Palm Beach County because we are a great county in so many ways, but everybody is not a fit for Palm Beach County. We want to be clear about that. And that's why your voices are so important. So we're going to have different topics tonight that we will ask you to answer questions about what your thoughts are. And if we don't ask you a question that you truly want to talk about, you need to come to the microphone and bring your own question. We may not have any answers because this is not for us to answer your questions. It's for you to talk about what you want to see happen. You may have had some great experiences, so we want you to talk about the great experiences that we have in Palm Beach County, but we may have some experiences that are not great, and we need to be on record. This meeting tonight is being recorded, and there's going to be a video that you can upload and actually see at a later date, very shortly. Also, the minutes are being taken of everything that you say. And all of this information is going to Ray & Associates, the national consulting firm who's looking all across the states, all across the country, to make sure that we get the right people applying for Palm Beach County. Some people just won't fit. And we will be able to say that right off based on some of the things that you have said. As your school board member, I've said a lot about what I want to see in the next superintendent. But tonight I'm listening to you. It's important that I listen to you. Mr. Crawford, our community liaison, who is fabulous, who works this entire community of Pahokee, Belle Glade, South Bay, Canal Point, he said to me, Ms. Andrews, I got this. We're going to have this meeting so that we can bring as many parents out and community people and school officials and students and teachers and administrators. We're bringing everybody out to have a say-so. So I've been talking to people as I walk in here, and I want everybody on the microphone. If the line just gets all the way back out the door, I want you to line up, because I know you have something to say, and we need it to be said. And what's going to happen is what you say will be on record with Ray & Associates, but it can be heard by people all across Palm Beach County, and they'll say, that's what the people from Pahokee had to say. That's what the students, the teachers, the elected officials, everybody, the parents, this is what they said they wanted to see in the superintendent. So without further ado, I'm going to be sitting here listening very carefully to you and taking notes, so when it's time for the selection process, which will be coming up real soon, I'll remember what you said. But I would like to tell you the application deadline for all of those who are applying for superintendent is April 2nd, which is really just a few days away. And the first week of April, we're going to be hitting it hard, reading all of your comments, looking at those resumes. Those resumes will be online. I want you to go through them and call me if you need to. Call the search firm, call Human Resources, but certainly call me, your school board member, and say, hey, this is the one, or this is not the one, Miss Andrews. But we are tonight here to hear from you. So, Mr. Crawford, I'm going to turn it over to you. I want you to introduce our wonderful, wonderful video specialist here that's recording us. And we welcomed our elected officials. And so I just really want to make sure you make sure everybody gets heard tonight. That's your job. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So moving forward, our facilitator. Our qualified facilitator, a parent, Mr. St. Clair Cowley, will be facilitating this session tonight. So basically, she'll ask 6 or 7 questions that's already been drawn out for responses from the audience. So feel free to come up to the mic in the aisle and give a response to the questions.
Good evening. I have 6, 7 questions that have been submitted by the form that were questions for you to answer. And And the first question is, what do you think are some significant strengths of the school district? And you can move to the mic, and as you move to the mic, please give us your name and whether you are a parent, a teacher, or a community liaison when you come up to answer the question. Thank you. Ma'am, you want to read all of it? Okay. Another question is, what do you think are the significant strengths of the community? The next question, what are the important qualities that you would like to see in the next superintendent?
I'm from transportation. In other words, my name is Annie Core, and I'm in the transportation department. And it's a lot of things that I want to see that the superintendent acts on, such as dignity. We drivers, we need dignity and respect, and we need a supervisor, a superintendent who will come out of this office and this site and see us how we work and make us, you know, what we want. We want him to come out of his office and see exactly how we work instead of staying behind doors. We want him to come out and see just what type of work we do. Because you guys children, our faces are the first faces they see and the last faces they see. And working in sometimes a harsh condition does put a damper on some things. We drivers, you know, we love you kids because, like I said, our faces are the first thing they see. But with a superintendent, we want a whole lot of things changed, you know, because it's not just about transportation, it's about our community also. Because transportation, taking your kids to school back and forth, it also runs into the community. And that's what we want. We want respect. And we want a superintendent that will understand us and not just sit down and just pass us over like we don't count. We do count. You know, that's what we want. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Tanaya Jefferson. I'm a student here at Pahokee High, and there are actually a lot of things I want from the superintendent. One, I can't really say what for him or her to do, but what we want here at Pahokee High, we want the superintendent to come down here and really see what he's working with. Because a superintendent can just say, oh, I want, you know, they can have this or that, but it's not exactly, how can I explain this? It's not exactly tailored to these students. If you give something to a school, it may not work for every student. We just want the superintendent to come down here and see how we work, how it works down here, because every school is different. Every school has different things. And that also brings the subject of opportunities. We are a small school, yes. And like Mr. Campbell said, we have really big hearts and we have really big dreams. We want more opportunities down here. Like, for instance, home ec, we don't have that down here. Culinary arts is at the middle school, but not at the high school. We don't have any STEM careers, or we don't have really anything to choose from. The only language course that we have is Spanish. Not to say that Spanish isn't good, but we want more opportunities like French or German. Those are things that people don't really talk about these days, but we want to do them. And another thing is we want, not to say our teachers aren't good, but we want better teachers that can teach higher levels. Like, we don't have physics here. So how are we supposed to go into all these big careers and make ourselves successful if we really don't have the tools down here to learn? Now, here's the thing for our parents. Our parents may not be here tonight, or it may not seem like a lot, but our parents want to be a part of this. We want the superintendent to have more town hall meetings with our parents, talk with us, talk with them. Make a plan about based on what they want and what they need, I think the superintendent should pay more attention to everything that goes on, too. We have a lot of ideas, and a lot of the time they aren't heard, or they're heard but nothing is done. We don't have a response back. We can have an idea to do this, but we don't have the resources to do it. Down here it's a small area, so we want the superintendent to just come see what he's working with.
Anyone else want to speak to that question?
Good evening. I'm Margaret Miller, and I work out of the Royal Palm Compound, and I also represent SEIU. And good evening to each and every one of you. I'm a visitor here in Pahokee, but I'm a resident of Belleville. And I'm a bus driver from over on the coast, where I have to get up 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning while you all asleep. I commute ever since 2000. And what I would like for the superintendent to do is start recognizing that, and no offense, it's not just the teachers, it's the bus driver, because we're the one that have to bring them to you, and we're supposed to be working together. And a lot of things that goes on, it be pushed up under the rug, and there's no communication. And lately, since we changed board members, that we have a communication. Hats off to Ms. Andrews, represents the western area out here. And I have seen a lot of things that happen over on the coast, and nothing going on past the 20 mile being headed west. And we get distracted. Whenever they finish, they send it out here. This year, we're not even able to have the necessary buses that we need to transport the kids. They are leasing buses, and out of the 6 facilities, only 3 of the facilities have the new buses, and all that was usable, unusable, is heading out either to the north compound or Royal Palm compound and west compound. And he needs to start coming out and visiting the 6 facilities, and then not just show up in the Glades area when graduation comes. And walk the walk, and another thing about security. We get up early in the morning, we don't even have an officer on duty at our facility. But I notice every school I serve, you see an officer. And anybody can just walk in, you don't know if anybody on those buses that time of morning. Thank God to Ms. Andrews that we do have more lighting on the facility, and then a lot of times we coming in 11 o'clock at night, no security, you're on your own, and he need to just start coming out into the western part and not just over there and bring our schools up to the excellence what they say we have, and our mission is kids first, then it's also the community, because I know one time I invited Mr. Gent to come out. We have talent out in the Glades, and every time they roll, the beginning of the year, it's always the schools on the coasts or the buses on the coast. We have talent out here, and we need to bring our schools up. And I know it's a lot of work that needs to be done with the community, and I like this where they're involved in now, that they got to set up. A lot of people is not even aware of what's at Glade Central now, that you can, don't make excuses. I'm a grandparent, all my kids are grown now. And I just come from West Palm Beach to be here tonight. And you all need to start going out to, when they have the school board meeting, sit up at Glade Central. It make it available that you don't have to go on the coast. Stop making excuses. We got 3 beautiful schools coming up, and they always push us to the back end. And we need to come up with the same quality schools that they have on the coast. They need to bring it to the Glades. Thank you.
My name is Stephanie Crawford, and I'm a parent of a student at Canal Point Elementary and Pahokee High School. I would like to see in a superintendent someone that advocates for our students. I don't really know the job of the superintendent very well, but I would hope that it's someone to advocate for our students with the Board of Education. Specifically, I'm referring to the FSA, the new FSA that's come out. I did have an opportunity to see some sample questions at the last SAC meeting I attended for Canal Point, and it is really ridiculous to me. And it's not a big support of our students. It's worse than the LCAT in my opinion. Some of the questions that were on there were questions that I was actually when I took the HSCT when I was in high school, those are questions that was on that particular one. And so now you're expecting 3rd, 4th, 5th graders to answer those type of questions when they weren't properly trained. And then to just go from one year to the next in such a vast degree is really not fair to our students. So I would like to see the superintendent to really voice his opinion and be an advocate for the students as well as the teachers, because it's not fair also to them to have to change their curriculum and be taught to try to teach that way when they've been taught to teach the FCAT pretty much all the time. So it's also a problem with the curriculum when it's just basically you're being taught to take tests and not necessarily learning anything from it, when that's all of the focus is. So I would like to see the superintendent really advocate fight pretty much the Board of Education and say, no, this test is not fair, this is not right, and even take a stand and possibly say, we're not going to do it here in Palm Beach County.
Good evening, my name is Gregory Maxwell. I'm a teacher here at Pahokee High School. I've been a teacher here since 2005, and I'm also an instructor at the Palm Beach State College. And I'd like to talk a little bit. Well, your first question was about what we believe is good about the district. Let me start off with that. Our district has been an A-rated school for many years. It's been an B-rated school for 3 years. Am I right? Yes. And we have a lot of people who support us. I know personally from the math department here at the school, the math people at the district have provided some good support, especially when it comes down to the FSA, which I agree with Ms. Crawford, it's kind of a mess. And we know that we're in the trenches and we're trying to deal with the students. However, we have a lot of problems here how we provide the best opportunities for our students. And one of the things I'm thinking of in particular is college readiness. Palm Beach State College has a number of campuses near a lot of our schools. There's a Lakewood campus, a Palm Beach Gardens campus, and there's a Belgrade campus. And yet, when we look around the Glades area, while 67% of the schools are A or B rated schools, most of the schools in the Glades area are D schools. And if you come to our schools, the connection between us and the state college is not that close. I'd like the superintendent to be more aggressive in making the connection between the high schools, Glades Central, Pahokee High School, and Palm Beach State College, so that if I have a student here who doesn't have a physics class at Pahokee High School, they don't have to go to a Lakewood campus to be able to take physics. Or like what happens at Suncoast, where they have arrangements with instructors that come from colleges and teach their students advanced courses, so that the students can get much more prepared for college. Suncoast High School has a similar demographic as Pahokee High School or Glades Central, the same kind of area. And yet still, they're getting a lot more results and support, I believe, from the district that we are. And largely because, and I hope this is not true, but this is how we feel, Pahokee is kind of like the unwanted stepchild. That's the mentality we have here. That when things go bad in Pahokee, we have to deal with it ourselves. And when things go well in Pahokee, everyone wants to take the credit for it. As I said, I've been working here for 10 years, and I see brilliant students in the school. Many of our students leave here, they go off to college, and they look back and said they wish they had been provided more opportunity to get some of the exposure that the kids in the coast get. And we are geographically far away, but we're not technologically far away. And we have opportunities here to help our students if the district would be much more involved in helping us to coordinate and organize and plan. We have a lot on our plates, and a little help will be useful. The student came forward and spoke about town halls with the parents. If the parents see the superintendent more, they may take more interest in coming to the school and meet with the teachers to see what we're doing to help out their students and what they can do to help their students. If the college sees that the superintendent is trying to get them to connect with the high school so that we have more dual enrollment classes offered for the students here, then it would be better for our students. But right now, that's not much of what's happening. We see the superintendent at graduation, we see them at sometimes the first week of school, and then other than that, it's just watching the news. We'd like to see more from the superintendent here, especially as it relates to cultural events. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Paul Morrison Sr., concerned citizen. I was listening at the young lady and the teacher, which I had a conference with. It's obvious the system is set up at this point where the kids out here could fail. In reality, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. I'm listening at the young lady who's enthusiastic about education, but yet there's not courses offered to prepare them to go to the next level. That's sickening. And if we as parents and community allow this to happen, we are failing our kids. So what I would like to echo what the young lady and the teacher was stating, as far as coming together out here where we can help the kids prepare to go to the next level. Thank you.
My name is Paula Holloway. I work at Palm County School Board, and I have 2 grandchildren that is in the elementary school. If I wasn't in school, some of the stuff that they bring home, I wouldn't know how to do it. I know if I catch it, I know the children catching it. And then sometimes you just switch up on tests. School is not about tests all the time. School is not about tests. It's what you put forth in the children's head to make them learn. Everywhere you go, from the time they get in school, they talk about tests. We don't do no other subject but testing for the LCAT and the tests that they'll change for now. We need a superintendent to come out and see how hard the children have in school trying to get this stuff across, and the teachers get it across to the student. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cornisha Dukes-Chisholm, and I'm representing Bridges at Pahokee. One of the things that I would like to see in a superintendent is the vision that learning begins at birth. That we don't just have a K-12 system, but that the actual learning begins prior to kindergarten. And having an opportunity or having a vision to incorporate those other community partners that help to make that possible, and working together so that our system is not just K-12, but a 0 to 12 program. As a parent, I've had a child and currently have a child that's in the public school system. And one of the things that I would like to see in a superintendent is someone who has very high expectations. Too often I find that the expectations are lowered for our children here in Glades, and they perform at a lower standard because the expectations are lower. And with maintaining consistent expectations, that we have the resources to ensure that our children can perform consistently with the rest of the children in the district.
My name is Josefa Hernandez, Josie Hernandez, and I'm a parent of Pahokee Elementary and a parent of a junior in high school. And I myself graduated from Pahokee High. And as I'm here sitting down listening, and I see the parents, I see the students, and I think we all see that everybody, now that Ms. Hunter's here, I think we all see that everybody thinks we at the Glades get hand-me-downs. We get whatever teacher didn't get qualified over there, whatever teacher, the teachers that are here because they love being in the Glades and because they love our kids. Because I've seen teachers come and go, and that's because they were looking for the pay, they were looking for the probability of getting more, which is good. I'm not saying nothing against that. But the ones that are here are because they really love our kids. And because I have worked with them. And I know that they're here because of love. And in reference to transportation, I'll never forget, as a teenage mom at 17, having my baby and that lady getting my daughter, and having, people would laugh because I'm Hispanic and that lady would braid my daughter's hair. But she wanted anything possible to help me out so that I could continue my education and still be able to take my little girl up in the bus at 5 in the morning. So, I still remember that lady, and she's retired from the school board, and every time I see her, I thank her because she made a difference. And in reference to our students, my daughter's always complaining, you need to get me out of that school. I have better probabilities over there. I can get scholarships over there. I can do this over there. I can join the Spanish club. The Spanish people over there are doing trips. I can do this. I can do that over there. Why don't you just take me out of the school and put me over there when I can advance more? That's what you hear our kids say when they get home. And the only reason I don't take her out is because I believe that she can succeed anywhere if she's put her head to it, because I saw it on my other daughter. And as I was hearing, what do I want in a superintendent? I want him to have a clear vision. I want him to be an instructional leader for our teachers. I want him to be a communicator, not only with his staff, but with his community. A good manager, good listener, and not afraid to take the risk. And be flexible. Once in a while, not like everybody said, we don't want to see him in the news. We want to see him, and not only in graduation, at least once a month. I know he has a busy schedule. Ms. Andrews, at least one time every 3 months, every quarter. It doesn't matter. Just say, I'm here, I support you, and I'm here to do what it needs to be done in the Glades. And I'm speaking here on behalf of the teachers, the students, and the parents. We need to make a difference. And how does it start? With him. Why? Because he is the top. And if it doesn't start with him, then the bottom people will fall. Okay? So why do we need a strong person up there? Because that strong person is going to make all of us stand up and be stood up straight. Without him and without criticism, we're not going to have a good standing support system. So we need to be together and be united so that we can have a good leader and a good representative, not only to represent the Palm Beach, but all Palm Beach, because we are part of Palm Beach. So the only thing I ask Ms. Sandra, as a Hispanic, I'm kind of disappointed because I don't see any Hispanic parents, but I'm speaking for them, and I'm speaking in behalf of them. And I want to see someone that's going to recognize us and treat us not like a number or not like a school, but to treat us that we are human beings, and we also have children and staff that are here to make a difference and not just to get a paycheck.
Mr. Eddie Rose, senior citizen. First, I think we need to think about, we would like a superintendent who are conscientious about the Glades. I don't look at the outcasts or the one low on the totem pole, but we would like to be treated like all the other schools on the coast. We want to be treated no different. We want the same facilities, the same equipment, the same teachers, same quality of teachers that all the other schools have. We want the superintendent who will be visible, not make promises. I know Superintendent Plum months ago, I'll be there for you. We need a superintendent that's going to be visible. I think if the teachers see and the community see the superintendent more often, you know, if you have a job and people working on the job, when you see the boss around, we work a little harder and we give a little more, unfortunately. And we need someone to come and to know not that you know what we're doing, but if we see you in the area, it would have to make us work harder as teachers. And we need someone who is conscientious about the Glades to that particular effect. We need someone who's going to make sure that our teachers are paid as according to what they're worth. We are the lowest paid profession and have the most important job, which is educating our students. And I think every time I look around, the superintendent's salary is going up and up and up and up. And when I look at the teacher's salary and the people who are in the trenches, like the administration and teachers, the salary is maintaining at the same old tightening belt for another year. And I think that we need someone that's conscientious about your employees to make sure that your employers, the employees receive the same type of compensation. I'm not saying pay all what you pay the superintendent now. But I'm saying that at least pay us comparable, at least the cost of living that we could even get that from the superintendent. But I want to make sure that we have someone or get someone in our area that's going to feel that the Glade is as much a part of Palm Beach County as Suncoast and those schools on the coast who are doing so well and they get so much equal facilities. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Leontay Mann, and I'm an employee at Pahokee Elementary, and I'm also a parent. I'm a parent for one of the students over at Glade Central. Even though my child attends over at Glade Central, I work at Pahokee Elementary, and I live here in Pahokee. What we want from a superintendent is to understand people over here in the Glades, we have big dreams, big expectations for our kids. But majority of the parents that live over here are farm workers and migrant workers. So they figure that since they are migrant workers, they just only get treated as such. That's not true. We have parents that go out in the fields and work and come home and they try to help their kids with these homework assignments that they've never seen before. So how are they to relate to their kids what they need for their kids to learn when they don't understand themselves? If we have a superintendent in place to understand the needs and the struggles of the parents here over in the Glades area, I think that he would be more comfortable into going towards the board to tell them that these cases change. And if they get back to the basics, I feel that these kids would do extremely well. Because I know a lot of kids that are grown now that don't even know how to write in cursive. So they've gotten away from the basics and are teaching our kids all this testing stuff. And our parents are looking at it as like, what is this? How can I help my child when I barely can write myself? How can I explain this math problem when the math can change 4 or 5 times when it's still adding and subtraction? You got bubbles, you got to take from the tens over here. They don't understand all that. So what we're wanting in a superintendent is to relate to all the people as equal, whether it's the migrant workers over here in the Glades or the corporate people over in Palm Beach County, over the other side of Palm Beach County, because they don't even consider us as part of Palm Beach County. We're Western Palm Beach County, and that shouldn't be no stipulations of us being Western. We should all be considered as Palm Beach County, period. And we want the same things for their kids over there, and we want that for our kids as well. So if the superintendent would see and understand the struggles over here in our area, and not treat us as we're just low class, because we're not. We have some kids that are super brilliant over here, and some of the things that they have over here, as a matter of fact, majority of our kids are over there making them look good, and they don't recognize that those kids are coming from over here from the Glades. But time the problem arises, they're from the Glades, and we had these kids to come over here, and they were in a program that they had to come over here. Well, if you get those programs over here, then you have to worry about our kids going over there. They can be comfortable at home and being taught and given the same opportunities here at home than having to go to the other side of Palm Beach County. So what we want someone to give our kids equal opportunities as well as understand the struggles that we have over here on the Glade.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brandon Sisnet. Once again, I'm from Pahokee. I actually work for Palm Beach County IT department. But I'm mainly come here as a graduate of Pahokee High School and a citizen of Pahokee. What would I like to see in our new superintendent is for him to hold everyone accountable to their actions. Everybody that's put in these seats and everybody who get these positions, myself included, make sure that he hold them to the fire just as well as we hold everybody else to the fire. I want to see a superintendent that can step up to any principal, any director, and hold them accountable for what the policy and procedure says. And if the policy and procedure is held accountable, then the teachers, the bus drivers, and everybody else can get the most out of what this system that is put in place. You don't have to come here and reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been created. And one thing I love about the glaze and what everybody needs to understand, we have displayed this in elections, through our electoral system. You cannot win any race unless you endure the glaze. Anybody that's thinking that they're going to win, we have displayed this time and time again, you will not succeed unless you display your trust and your value in the glaze. I want to thank you, Marsha Andrews, for taking the time out. She hit the ground. We see her not just in the school, we see her in our restaurants, we see her in our parades, we see her in our town hall meetings, we even see her in the churches. So I'm not asking the superintendent to come out and sit in my household. I'm asking him to hold the people that he's sending out here to be accountable for what goes on out here. Because the people that's out here is his eyes and his ears. And he sits at the table with his people, and he can report back to his bosses the best of his ability. To the unions and everybody that's out there, continue to push forward. To the students, I feel your pain because I came through the same system, and this system out here is what induced me to become a computer engineer. We had IT, we had cooking, we had airbrushing, we had everything out in the glaze. And now, when we look at the system now, it appears to be broken, but yet it's still just to say, oh, okay, we're finna fix it. No, we need to get him out here. You look at the staffer. We need to correct teachers. We need to limit the amount of subs that's on these campuses. We need to get out and we need to push for more qualified teachers. I've seen the effort that's put into recruiting teachers. We can fly across the Atlantic to get a teacher. We can fly across the State Road 7 to bring a teacher out into the glaze. Now, and I pretty much just want to make sure everybody, not just the cafeteria staff, not just the teachers, not just the transportation, even our community leaders, I want you guys to come up and hold them accountable as well as the SAC and everybody that's out here. Let's get this superintendent in here. Let's look at the paperwork. We don't want to sit here and host these forums and then look up and somebody pop up that's, oh, we know him already. No, we want this company to consider the paper, the qualification, the aspect, the characteristic, the charisma. Let's get this superintendent in here and clean up this mess.
Anyone else for those questions? Okay, moving right along. The next question is, what is the most critical issue that you feel the new superintendent should address when he or she starts? The next question is, what do you want in management and leadership styles of the new superintendent coming in? And I think a lot of these questions have been answered already, but if anyone want to come to the mic, please feel free. The next question, do you have any other important input that could have an impact on the choice of the new superintendent? And the final question is, do you know of anyone? Do you know any individuals that is qualified for this position And if you do, please let them know about the opportunity of applying for the position as the superintendent for Palm Beach County.
Yes, I'm Catherine Martinez. I work for the middle school here in Pahokee. I'm also a resident of Belle Lane. I would like to address a couple things. First of all, I think that the superintendent needs to be committed to diversity. And I echo what Josie said about the lack of Latinos involved in this forum. I don't know if there were translators provided, since there are so few. That may be why they didn't feel it was necessary, but I would suggest that whoever is involved in the leadership needs to analyze this and figure out why more people did not come out tonight. Not just among Latinos, but among everyone in the community. I know Ms. Andrew felt that we had a good turnout, but in my feeling, this is extremely important. We need to see the whole room filled. I would say also involved in this search is transparency, because I remember on our last go-around, we were invited to Glade Central to meet the candidates, and we greeted everyone and we talked to everyone. And then in the end, a completely different decision was made. So I'm wondering, why did we go to this meeting if in the end a completely different decision was made? So I would say, hopefully there'll be complete transparency of the process. Also, thinking about not to this superintendent, but the previous superintendents, I think the superintendent needs to be able to get along with everyone and not have a personal agenda and try to exercise his personal agenda. This is something extremely important, I think, because we have had, I've been here in Palm Beach County long enough that I know that we've had conflicts in the past, and there has been my personal feeling, there has been a waste of resources in certain things that have happened before. Thank goodness that in the last period of time, we have gotten away from that. But I would like to keep on with this situation and not, we need to do what we can to avoid the problems that were happening in the past. The superintendent needs to be someone who can get along with a very, very, very diverse community. Not just Black, not just Latino, but there are immigrants from all over the world that make their resident here in Palm Beach County and also out here in the Glades. We have not just people from, the islands, but also, and from Mexico, but also all over the United States. We have people from Palestine, from Lebanon, from different communities. So the superintendent has to be someone who understands and is willing to get along with a wide diversity of people. And as someone said, he's an instructional leader, and he needs to lead us toward this comprehensive approach so that everyone feels welcome, everyone feels that they can participate.
Kirkpatrick, soon to be senior citizen. I do want to recommend Eddie Rose for the new superintendent. I want that to be on record. From a serious standpoint, though, first of all, I want to thank you for really coming out to our community and being a part of our community everywhere we go to see. And this community really wants to say to you thank you. Because when we can't get anybody else, we can find a way to get to you. And I don't care, I've met you at the gas station. transportation coming this way early in the morning and leaving back at night. So we do want to say thank you. Mr. Campo, you're in position to really do some big things for us. Continue to do what you're doing. And we're hoping that this superintendent will come in and give you some more ammunition to instill in our kids what's important. Academics is number one. And we can't just put it all on the superintendent, all on the teachers. This community has to get involved in that as well. And we have to support our principals, our assistant principals, our teachers. We have to support them. And then if we can put all of that together, then we can go to Ms. Andrews if we can't get to that superintendent. And she will do whatever needs to be done for us to get what we need. I would love for the superintendent to pay attention to the Glades and not put us on the back burner, which everyone has said tonight. Not make us that third world country that they talk about over there. Everything that you do, you got to go over there to get it done. Well, let me tell you about Pahokee High School. You're looking at a former student, single parent, both parents on drugs, was able to come through Pahokee High School and make it, go off to college and receive a degree. So I'm knowing that these kids can do that, but we've got to have great leadership. We got to have great community involvement. We were talking about the new superintendent, but there's some things that we have to do along with that to make this happen. So our only reach out now is Ms. Andrews until we can get someone in place. And maybe when we get that person in place, then that person can come out and we'll get a chance to talk with he or she. Thank you.
Mr. Crawford, I would just like to say, again, I'm St. Porter Cowan. I'm a parent and an employee of the school district. I want to thank Mr. Crawford for asking me to be a part of his committee and getting involved with getting the forums put in place and also for Cerinthia voting. So I just want to say, we beat the streets. We passed out flyers door to door. We're trying to get the parents involved. And if you want to join our team, you can contact Mr. Crawford. We're going to try to put something in place where we're going to provide transportation for the ones that were not able to come tonight in Pahokee to the meeting on the March 30th in Belgrade. So Mr. Crawford will provide you all with his number. So if you want to be a part of the team to help us so that everybody can be involved and give their views on what they want in a new superintendent, just get in touch with Mr. Crawford, and if you want to join our team, let us know because we are open and we do need help. Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
Okay, before Ms. Andrews comes up and gets the mic, just for clarity, Pahokee Elementary provided some translators for us if we had an Hispanic community that was present, so they had the earphones or whatever the tools they use for the Hispanic community. And I was hoping to have the Hispanic and everyone, more people here tonight, but again, I think we got some good information, some good feedback to take so that the superintendent search will be a little more informative. So Ms. Andrews,
But before I give my final remarks, one of my team members who really advocates for the Glades is in the audience tonight, Dr. Deborah Robinson, school board member. Would you come up and give a few words? You helped us out with the video piece tonight. I'd like you to say a few words. And then I'm coming back because I want to go over the timeline because we're really going to have some input. We're having it tonight, but we're going to have more before the final decision is made. Thank you.
Come right up.
Good evening. Good evening. So I just want to say
Now, I am crystal clear that we are not living up to our potential, right? Now, I'm also crystal clear that power concedes nothing without a demand. Do you understand? So I've been on that school board 14 years hollering, speaking up for the Glades. Thank God I got a tag team partner now. Okay? Now I can say amen and she can do the preaching, right? But your voice, your view, and your advocacy. Okay? So I thank you for being here. Let me just acknowledge that we have I think one of the co-sponsors of this event is the Coalition for Black Student Achievement, co-chair Latanzia Jackson's here. You raise your hand, Latanzia. Okay. And then two of the most important voices in my life right here, Dr. Marianne DuPont. Yes. And then my Commissioner Added Biggs. You know, thank you, Marsha, for allowing me to say these words. I'm going to cut myself off because I will get cranked up. But let's just be clear that we have lots of work to do, not only in the Glades, but we have lots of work to do in the Glades. But I need you to be clear and specific about what you want, what you believe, and what you see. Okay? Thank you.
From Mr. Crawford, who is our community liaison. He's not going to let anything get by. And I'm telling you, I've listened tonight. I've seen many of you because you've already gone online. We had an online survey asking the same questions you heard tonight. So many people did it online because of their employment situations or whatever. They couldn't come out and be visible, but they've been online. We've had thousands of people give input online. We also have a search advisory committee, and the Tri-Cities are represented. Eddie Rose, Mary Evans, Mrs. Biggs have been a part of that process for the advisory team. Watching this process, the Glades is represented. But I want you to look at your brochure here for a quick minute. Because as I said early on, the deadline for the application April the 2nd. And once that is over with, it's beginning. It's beginning. We're not playing. It's beginning. We'll know who those names are. And once those applicants' names are released and those bios, their information about what they've done, who they are, that's big time. All that's going to be released. And you can pick that information up off the Palm Beach County School District website. I want you to go into that and check it out, because you're going to be able to say, this is not the one, or you might be able to say, this might be the one, but you might see something and say, oh, this could be the one. Let's further search it and check it out. So I want you to remember the month of April, especially the beginning of April, will be a hot time for all of you to have input. Now, once we actually present those candidates to the school board, the finalists, I need you to be a part of that. But I need you to be a part of the beginning process once those applications are released, the names are released. You can tell where somebody comes from by looking at their bio. You can tell what they've done. If they've done nothing, they can't come to Palm Beach County. They're not going to be a fit. And I need you to know that you can dial my number and say, oh, Ms. Andrews, I saw those applications. I didn't see but 5 of them that looked like they could match. And so as we begin to search down, we're going to be looking at our search advisory committee to give us input, as well as you, all of you, to give us input. And then we're going to have a board meeting where we'll be dealing with all of these people once we kind of narrow it down. If you can't come to the district office, we have access right here for you to go to Glade Central, or you may go to the West Area office at West Tech, depending on how many people want to do this. But we want you to be able to look at it and be able to give input at that moment. You can look at it on television, but we want you to be live either at Forest Hill or live by simulcast right here in the Glades. Mr. Crawford, would you make sure that happens as we get closer? When the applications are out there and released, that you may send some emails out to all of the community to let them know in the schools. The same thing for the candidates' bios when that begins to come out. Just like we got the people in here tonight and we put the call out, would you be in charge of making sure we know that? And when we actually start getting with the school board meetings, whether they can come to Forest Hill or stay here and be able to speak, because I want your voice is heard. Mr. Crawford, will you take charge of that?
Yes.
And so I just want you to know, as we get to the final product, you will have input. Somebody asked a question that says, well, last time, you know, we brought the candidates out here to the area. We're not bringing anybody anywhere until you actually say what you think will be the characteristics and who you think will be the finalists based on your input. So once we get down to maybe 3 to 5, then we'll be dealing with who we want to talk to. I think last time it kind of happened because we didn't have a national search committee and we came out. When we get down to the point of you talking to people, you're going to know this because you studied the bios, you've been looking at those names, you've been looking at the input, you know what you want, and you'll have a say-so. So I want you to know we are just beginning this process.